music or rock stars that have other interests. Do you know who has an interest, a big interest in watches?
A lot of musicians have interest in watches.
Yeah, a lot.
Like,
but this one spends. This is like his main
Is it Keanu
interest
Reeves?
outside. No,
I've never understood the fascination with watches. I just know that people use them for money.
He goes and sits with tramps and makes them Christmas dinner. He's not bothered about expensive watches. John Mayer.
I've read
Oh, yeah, he does. I saw a video clip of him. He was with Kanye West in a studio.
Yeah.
And Kanye West has got this big like chain on. This is when Kanye was like just almost legendary.
Sane.
Yeah, just saying. He had this big like diamond thing on. And John Mayer was talking to camera. He was trying to be funny. And he's like, I get a lot of grief and stuff like that, saying that, I'm not making it in life and yada, yada, yada. He says, but you see this is worth $80,000. Kanye, how much is your necklace worth? And he says, 40. He says, 40. And look at us. I'm the winner.
Yeah. He trades watches.
So just on a quick, so what's he worth?
John Mayer? I don't know.
Just a stabbing dog.
I don't know. A lot of money.
What's he worth?
What do you mean by what is he worth though? Because people have like, they have.
When he goes to the cash machine in the morning, what will his bank balance say?
Yeah, but Elon Musk is the richest man in the world, but his bank balance won't state how much it's worth because it's all tied up in shares and assets because they don't deal in cash.
If they sold everything.
But what will his bank balance say?
As they stand today, if he stands, if he just got everything out in his bank and he got everything out of his pocket, he's not the richest man in the world because he's only rich through businesses.
Yeah,
it's not money rich.
Are we talking about Elon?
Yeah.
No, so my point is it worth £1 million? Let's say.
Oh, Elon,
John Mayer.
John Mayer. Yeah.
Oh no, he's worth a lot more than that just on record sales alone.
So let's just say you had £1 million. Would you spend 80 grand on a watch?
No.
I don't even own a watch. I mean, I have a watch. The last watch I was bought, I think I was 17. You bought me a yellow sports watch, and it's in my toolbox.
Yeah.
I don't wear watches.
But you do have a fascination with timepieces.
I used to have a thing with pocket watches.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. But
I mean, the glass thing we got you.
Yeah, but
it's got like a extended lens on it.
Right.
It's just something about keeping track of the time. It's never really interested me.
No, it don't. Well, it don't me really. I won't spend 80 grand on a watch.
I've had quite a few watches over the years, some nice watches, and I wear this one that my good lady wife bought me, and it's a Garmin, and she bought it me when we started cycling.
Yeah, you said so she knew where you were.
To make sure you're alive.
Yeah.
Yes.
Basically,
so she could track me.
So she could track you.
So she could track me.
And if you fell off,
and if I fell off and had a heart attack, she'd know exactly where I had that heart attack.
Yeah.
Because she was concerned about me. And thank you. Oh, are you recording, by the way?
No, yeah.
But really, instead of buying you that watch, all she would have had to do is just ring me. And I'd have told her where we were.
Oh,
he's dying now.
He just fell off his bike and he's just frothing at the mouth.
So, the Zootons are back together.
Really?
And they're creating another album after 16 years.
Zootons?
The Zootons.
Oh, they did that one.
They're famed for creating the original version of Valerie.
That's it. Yeah,
once
Valerie.
covered by Amy Winehouse.
Yeah, Valerie.
They've obviously run out of money, and they're back.
The back.
I don't know if they'll be any good.
What else did they do?
Original band?
They did a couple of songs. They weren't one-hit wonders. But as soon as they became massive from Amy Winehouse, they just thought, oh, sod it. I'm just going to buy a house and live off royalties.
Yeah, because they've got the royalties for it, yeah. I get that. No, I don't get that.
Easily done, though, isn't it?
Well, it is. If you're not getting anywhere in the first place. If you're not getting anywhere in the first place, you're going to say, "Oh, this is an easy escape route."
It weren't that they weren't getting anywhere. They seemed to be all right on the indie scene, and then they just dropped off. So I imagine the temptation to be quite lazy when you've got a load of money coming in.
Yeah,
is
easy.
And it might not just be for the singer. It might just be, well, okay, the other band members can't be asked because they've got a big paycheck, and now if you can't get the band together. So the bass player for the Zootons, I believe, went on tour and played with Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds.
Really?
He was part of that. He was part of that band.
Right. Okay.
Was or still is?
Still is. I don't know,
Hmm.
but definitely played with them. I'm not sure who the girl was that played Scissors. Do you remember that? Noel Gallagher's High Flying Bird. There was somebody who played Scissors on one song.
Yeah.
She put a pair of scissors up to the microphone and did that.
Well, there's no saying it that you change your word, you get a third snipper, and you get a.
The thing is, though, it made a lot of people talk and it got headlines. So
yeah, so within that, she's got some royalties coming to her.
Well, it got people talking about Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds. There's a girl playing Scissors over there.
Well, that's it. It worked, didn't it?
Maybe one day she'll progress to Shears.
I don't really think they thought that deep into it.
Probably not. Probably just had this sound that they needed for a song.
So if you were going to get an instrument like that, scissors, would you rather play scissors or spoons?
Well, you can't run with scissors, can you? But you can run with spoons, so I choose spoons.
I think I'd go with spoons.
Yeah.
I like the old rather than...
You faced this up the other week and I thought, what is he doing with this? Where's he got this from? Where's all this about? We're on about Dome, and we were talking about what really strange thing they could put on there. And I said something like, "Oh, they could put snooker on there." And he goes, "Yeah, there was somebody who was out back playing spoons."
Basically, Wayne has ambitions of starting a skiffle band.
Yeah. And he was saying like, "Oh yeah," and then they could have fish swimming by like cod and thing. Well, where the hell's this coming from?
Great idea, though.
Great idea.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for that.
That was a guest.
Siri, a special guest.
Siri just dropped.
Siri just my phone.
No,
Siri just dropped in as he was passing by.
See, we're full of surprise guests on the Listen Line podcast. Stay tuned, and we'll have.
So I'm sorry, but
somebody else.
I'm going to have to need my notes again on this one.
Go for it.
So
yeah, please.
In the USA, apparently they have over 6,000 radio stations.
Yeah.
6,000.
Yeah. Every state,
ridiculous.
every town.
How insane is that?
No, it's not. It's good.
No,
it's
not.
Good, and it's
but it
bad.
is insane.
But it's 6,000 different radio stations.
The TV system works on a very similar system as well.
Can you imagine how tiresome it must be to do like radio promo as a musical artist?
Mm.
You're listening to Radio
KP.
Peanut Paradise FM. This is my new single, Drop It Like It's Salty.
Yeah, well, they do. That's it.
God. No.
They have a very similar thing with TV stations as well. They have public radio stations, they have public TV stations.
Mm.
And they'll have each town, each state, certainly each state has got numerous radio stations. They're very big on talk radio.
Well, some states are bigger than countries in Europe.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, yeah.
Texas is huge.
Yeah.
Everything's big in Texas.
Oh, yes, even the hats.
Yeah.
But it only works in America, though.
Possibly.
Mm.
No, well, it was actually that remark or statement that I read that got me thinking. And I'm going to ask you both a question of, is not necessarily just in the UK, as a worldwide thing, do you think radio is dying since streaming? Because you can stream into your cars now. Well, you can stream via your phone to your car radio. So if you're going to drive down to, I don't know, let's say one Saturday morning, you say to Linda, right, come on, let's go. Let's go away for a weekend. Let's have a drive down to London. We're going to London for a weekend. Do you put radio on, or do you put a streamed playlist on?
I think you've already answered your question. In this, well, you haven't, but in America, they've got that many radio stations. It's obviously there's a supply and demand, and there's demand for radio stations. So that's why there's over 6,000.
Mm.
Was it 6,000?
6,000. Over 6,000, yeah.
We're a very small nation, but we do have niche radios stations in this country. We have things like Radio 4, which is basically a talk radio station, and we have different subjects at different times of day.
Yeah.
We have talk radio, sport radio,
Sport radio, yeah.
talk sport or whatever it's called. And it's guess what they do on there?
Gardening.
That's it. They talk about gardening. They might as well. And it's niche on a smaller market in this country. In America, they have the same things times by 10. You know, they'll have talk radio in every city. Every county will have its own talk radio station. And it's all garbage, or it's all left-wing or right-wing. And it's, depending which state you're in, it can be very politically orientated. And it's a lot of shouting and bawling there for time. And I've listened to a lot of it, and it is interesting.
They have some great stations.
It is interesting because you think to yourself, because we're not used to that.
No,
we're not used to that. We just get what we've been fed for years and years and years.
Yeah,
and
but you're looking at that from a novelty aspect.
Yeah,
though.
I do.
Yeah.
I look at it from purely a novelty aspect because, like I just said, we have not had that for years and years. Because you get these, it allows for extremist people with not necessarily extremist views, but
outlandish views. There's a thing about freedom of speech at the moment, especially in America, and Elon Musk sort of summarized it pretty well, where he said, in order to have freedom of speech, you need to have people that say things that you don't agree with on a public domain.
Yeah.
That's the epitome of freedom of speech. If you have people that just say things that you agree with, that isn't freedom of speech.
No.
Oh.
I do agree. I don't mind people saying what they want to say. What I do mind is if that is the only thing you've got to listen to.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Can you? Well, you probably will do, but a couple of months ago, or a couple of episodes ago, we had a guest on from America, Sean, my brother-in-law, and he subscribes to a radio station.
Really?
Yeah.
Shame on you.
I can't remember what it's called now.
Come on down to WKPO2.
When he listens to
Be one of
this,
them.
he'll be shouting.
Crocodile Dundee Rock.
But it's got no adverts on. And it's got, I don't know. If
you can listen to it, but if you don't subscribe to it,
you get these
the
adverts. But these don't have adverts on. I mean, we get Spotify, and we get BT, and we get Sky to subscribe to. But they get radio channels to subscribe to. And I'm like, what? Why would you subscribe to a radio channel?
So there's a thing.
You've got to be careful though, because that's what they've always known.
Oh yeah, and
because it's so big,
it plays all the stuff that they like.
If there was a classic rock station that you
but there's that many of
could listen to, that was either you listen to all adverts and you subscribe to it and didn't get the adverts, you would probably do it yourself.
So this is the thing. So
I don't listen to radio that much to warrant me doing that.
In the UK,
really? No.
In the UK,
we have a different slant on it over here.
Yeah.
In the UK, it's only the BBC where we don't have adverts. So, but they still have internal.
That's why you pay bleeding television license.
But they still have like internal adverts promoting other BBC shows, which is slightly annoying. But for me, so my car has Apple Play function and Android function. So you connect your car, you connect your phone to it. And if I'm driving and I don't connect my Apple, or if I don't pick something to play on Spotify, it goes to, I think it's set up to go to Virgin Radio or BBC Radio 2 or something. And I get annoyed when it comes on because it's like, I get annoyed that you don't get to listen to the song, the full entire song.
Yeah.
Because it's waffle at the beginning and it's waffle at the end.
Yeah.
See, mine's very same to that. But
and I despise adverts.
But mine's linked to Planet Rock.
Right. But you get adverts, though, don't you?
You do, yeah.
Yeah. And I can't be doing that. And I like, so a part of me now is invested in the algorithm because I like to, I can talk about this for a while, but at the end of the year, you get a summary of like what your listening habits were. And me and my friend, we like to share our habits. And I was like, how many genres did you have? I'm like, well, I got 154. Oh, I got 200. Ah, damn. You know, I like that. And I like to discover new songs. I don't like to listen to adverts. And I like podcasts. Now, on podcasts, There's a podcast that I occasionally used to have to listen to when I was in the car with my partner, Stacey. And I can't remember what it's called. It was on a different format, but it was a BBC format. And they used to talk about things like books and all sorts of stuff and culture, but it was predominantly like a ladies-focused podcast. Ladies! Oh. So, but they then left, and then they started another podcast. The same group of them, but they were under the alias now of, I think, Radio Times. But what that would be is you get adverts involved in there. But generally the same show.
Yeah.
But one thing that they would mention is that they'll be more openly expressive about that. They'll be able to discuss their own views on political issues.
All right.
Where if you're working for the BBC, you have to appear neutral.
Yeah.
So you can't really express an opinion. And sometimes there are times when, it'd be just nice to hear someone's real opinion.
Well, they're not at BBC, or they ban you.
Yeah, exactly. So there are too many rules involved. And the radio stations, let's not pretend like they're not getting paid. Like, people think that as a DJ going, I like this song, I'm going to play this for 7 days and 3 times a day. It's not how it works. They get paid by the record companies to play the song.
Yeah.
They are pushing crap down your ears. So when we were talking earlier on one of the other episodes about the Beatles being at number 1, the latest single, I saw the chart. The number 1 chart, I saw them being at number 1. I was like, oh, okay, it's good. And then I looked at the further down the chart for the top 10 charts. Taylor Swift was there 4 times. 4 times.
Yeah.
All off at the same album.
That's ridiculous.
It is.
Yeah.
That's not. How is that? How does that make any sense?
No.
I don't suppose that's.
It'll be all off at the same album as well.
Oh yeah, but
It shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it shouldn't happen. It's a different way.
So on that respect, the radio should be strangled.
I mean, I can remember when one of my previous jobs when I was driving a van back in late 90s.
Gigolo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And my day revolved around radio because I used to get to certain drops at certain times. So I
you
wouldn't
get your drive
miss.
time, you get your pop master and stuff.
So I'd leave for work and I'd listen to Simon Mayo. I'd get to work, get me orders.
This is BBC Radio 2. Yeah.
Radio 1.
Oh.
He started on
No,
Radio 1.
way back.
Yeah. It goes that far back.
Jesus.
I'd get all my stuff, get her, and off I'd go. And away I'd go, you wee bugger. And Simon Bates would come on.
Ooh.
And at 11 o'clock, he did an hour tune where he told you a sad story by a writer that had written in and they'd picked a tune related to a sad time in the person's life. And then at 1 o'clock, on come Mr. Boring, what was he called? Gary Davis. Now,
Gary Davis.
Yes, he was slightly different because he had more of an, I want to say, advanced music, as in what we recognise.
The alternative, was he?
Yeah, he was very like dance.
What time was this?
That were at 1 o'clock,
Right.
while 3 o'clock.
Right.
And then the highlight of the day, this is what you waited for. It was Steve Wright in the afternoon.
All right.
No.
Yeah.
3 while
No.
or 5.
Hasn't
Brilliant.
Hasn't he gone to another station now? He's doing. I think he's gone to
went
Radio
to
Times
Radio
now.
2.
No, he's gone to another. He's left Radio 2.
Has he left that
I
one
think
as
he's gone to
well?
Radio Times as well.
Well, at that
I think they actually put him down.
at that time, back in
It was a mercy killing.
early 90s, he was voted the number 1
Well,
DJ
yeah,
in
right.
something like 4 or 5 years on trot.
Yep.
But his show was superb. It was brilliant.
Well,
And the
You
reason why
you
I
said
say
that.
that is because he had a lot of alternative stuff on. He had old stuff, present day stuff, and new
did.
stuff.
his playlists were very good.
Yeah.
They were worth listening
He
to.
got 2 or 3 people working with him on there.
Yeah.
And they used to have
But
like,
Steve Wright also really likes Katie Mulligan. There are 90 billion bicycles in.
Oh, he used to have guests on.
I guess,
and we
and
know
then he had like cartoony type of guests
He-
on, like he had
yeah.
like
he
Mick
tried his
Jagger
best
and
to be.
Jack Nicholson and all
Yeah.
this. He was brilliant. He
But
was a great
You do know that.
show.
You do that. Morrissey hated Steve Wright, though, right?
I hate Morrison, so I'm not.
Do you know
bothered.
this fact?
Yeah.
No.
Do you know the band The Smiths? What
Yes.
Morrissey used to sing for?
Terrible.
Do you know the song "Hang the DJ"?
Oh, is that about him?
It's about him. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Hang the DJ. Hang the DJ. I'm getting the melody wrong. I'm turning it into a weird Bowie song. But yeah, it was about Steve Wright.
The thing is, that doesn't carry much weight with me, knowing that it's Morrissey that stood there.
No, I'm not. He's
For
an
those of you that
arsehole
live
anyway.
outside the UK, we must explain that in the UK, you have to pay a TV and radio license. Otherwise, you will get banged up and you will be doing hard time. You have to pay a fee. And this fee enables you to have
watch
advert-free less programs on the BBC and radio. But
I going back to, you're right. Going
Thank you.
back to what you were saying about Steve Wright.
Steve's right, yeah.
The guests you used to have on, I didn't mind the playlist. The playlists were all right because it were mixed and varied.
Yeah, well, good. I used to like that.
What I did object to,
I know where you're going to go with this. Arse licking.
yeah, he was the best arse licker in the land. Irrespective of what guest it were.
I thought it was...
Oh my! I think you're some kind of a genius. And he used that phrase on a regular basis.
Yeah.
But as a DJ...
You
It might not have been a good interviewer then, but as a DJ,
No,
he was brilliant.
No, he weren't.
I
No.
couldn't wait me for 3 o'clock. I used to love 3 o'clock, listen to him while, 4 when I'd finished. And then for the last hour, half an hour, I used to listen to him on the way up. I couldn't wait for 3 o'clock. It was
Really?
brilliant. That was highlight of my day driving my van.
Jesus.
Apart from in summer when I used to whip off the tweeds and shirt and lay on top of the van and sunbathe. Your dad would phone me and say, "Where are you?" I say, "I'm at Donny National Park." "What are you doing?" "I'm sunbathing on top of that."
They think I broke down.
I used to get wheel wrench and smash it through windscreen, phone up and say, "I've just been coming down M18. A lump of wood's flown off back of a
Did you
wagon
really?
and gone straight through my windscreen."
All that because the clouds are
So
bricked.
yeah, so I've had to pull in so they get tow truck to come and tow me. I'd be there, fast asleep on top of the van.
Wow.
And when he weren't fast asleep on top of the van, he was down at my unit.
I was in cabin with
Having a coffee with us.
your dad and your granddad. Come,
Wow.
get it. Make him a drink. Give him Angling Times. Get it, give him a cig.
Yeah, you know what my dad was like.
Yeah.
Your granddad. Yeah, go on. Wait, Jeff, go on. Just get him a coffee. Sod off.
Make his own fucking coffee. But yeah, so back in them days, I think them days of...
But they're the romantic years of you're referring
it
to
might
when
be-
radio was all we had.
Yes, it might be because I don't listen to radio now.
Why
Well,
don't you?
I do. That's a lie.
No.
I listen to
I get
Planet
annoyed when
Rock.
the radio comes on.
But
And
we come
I have to-
first full circling to what you originally asked us.
Yeah.
Well, what I was going to say is, I do listen to radio now, but I don't think it's as I don't want to say not as good because I like Planet Rock. I only listen to Planet Rock now, but back in them days, I only listened to Radio 1, and it was more obviously it was more varied because Planet Rock's obviously what it says it is.
That's what you thought.
It's rock. But that's the stuff I like. But it just got me thinking, other people, young people, do they do what I did when I was younger? Listen to
Well,
radio,
Apparently,
order the stream.
apparently, I can't say for English audiences, but the American audiences, 82% of 12-year-olds and upwards listen to local radio.
Mm.
Yeah, because they've got so much choice. That makes sense
Yeah.
for them, really.
Yeah.
Well, sorry. I'd
It's
agree.
okay.
I'd agree with that.
Well, you have to, because that's a fact.
No, sure, but purely on the basis of the fact that they haven't got the wallet to pay for something private.
No, I don't think it's that, Louis. I think it's the fact that our listening is completely different to the American listening. Their radio versions, their TV versions are completely different to ours. So their consumption of radio is not what we're used to.
All right, but aside from America, what like in the UK, the market we know there.
The market we've got in UK is quite buoyant, apparently, but it's buoyant only in local radio. True.
I just find
True.
that.
Yes,
I'd like
it's-
to know who's doing this research because I bet it's internally funded.
Oh, maybe.
Oh yes, the kids are loving it.
Maybe. But it's not the BBC that's funding it.
No.
Let's put it that way.
I've got 2 statistics here, 2 facts. And the first fact is, which I found, I don't know.
Can I just add to what Louis
Yeah,
just
go
been
on.
saying?
Yeah,
Because it's because of niche radio, like Sport Talk, Talk Sport, and Gardening Weekly, and all that type of thing.
True.
I'm going to say,
True, yes.
our stuff is, I mean, on radio, like you've said before, you've got travel news, you've got weather news.
Yeah.
You've got sports news.
Yeah.
It's not just about music radio, is it?
No.
You can listen to things like bloody Gardener's World
Yeah.
and Art
Even on BBC.
to Trim a Conifer for Christmas.
If you go Radio 4 on BBC, you've got
art.
gardening, cookery,
Yeah.
everything you want on there.
Sure, but that's not mass audiences we're talking about, though.
Oh, no,
but I
but
do
what I
agree,
mean
though,
is
with the
it's
football thing.
available
So I used to car share
if
with
you
somebody,
wanted.
and like one.
What, like you had it at weekends and he had it through the week?
No, like a certain. It was my week to drive or his week to drive. When it's his week to drive in the evenings, we'd drive back because he used to. But I used to work like 35 miles away, but we'd end up listening to a Sheffield radio sports station. And, my God.
I bet you
Yeah.
love that,
Oh, yeah.
didn't you?
It was just people ringing up complaining about the referee.
Yeah.
I like.
Yeah.
I bet you couldn't wait for that journey on, could you?
It was just
But you will be
horrendous.
surprised how many people listen to that.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, but all right,
Yeah.
these are nuances of radio, right? And obviously they're never going to really die out. But are they the king of the airwaves? No. Music-wise,
No, they're not. But they've
No.
taken a hit. But you'll be surprised. There was a recent survey done whereby they asked one of the prominent AIs what was the future of radio. They asked it several questions, and it was: is radio sustainable? What is the future of radio? Will radio die? Is
No.
radio still alive? Basically, and they asked it all these questions, and it all came back positive.
Yeah. I don't think radio will ever die.
No,
I don't think it'll ever be extinct. I don't. I don't.
it's
Will
took a
it-
hit. It's took a hit,
As
but
it
it's not a massive hit.
Yeah, as it,
not as big a hit
has
as
it
you think.
declined since 90s? Absolutely.
Yeah,
the
Will-
DJs don't have the sway that they used to.
Will
The
it-
ones
no,
had.
Will it,
don't.
will it disappear in the next 20 years? No.
no.
No, it won't.
You get a
You
lot of
might
the
not-
commercial radio
yeah.
stations.
You might not listen to
It
it,
might be, or
but it will
Heart
always
and things
be
like that.
there. I hate that Galaxy.
Oh, yeah,
Hey,
well,
here's a thought,
winds
Joe.
me up,
and it's all chat, and you're not going to believe what's going to happen next. It's all clickbait radio.
Here's the
Yeah.
thought for you.
Clickbait radio, and it annoys the shit out of me. Clickbait radio. We're going to give away £10,000 within the next hour. All you've got to do is say,
Stick around.
what is the next? What is the missing word? The cat sat on the right. This has been running for a week now. You tell me what that missing word is, and you get all these people ringing up.
Mm.
Is it Matt? Is it Matt?
And you never know anybody that's won it.
Well, it's not so much that. It's the
Well, you don't.
Hold
You
on.
get
The
Let's
Swanians that think they've got it.
let's just twist.
They're into the proper quiz.
Let's just twist the thought process a minute. The radio in 20 years. Like, you could technically say that what we're doing right now is radio, but it's
But it is.
non-time
Well, it
sensitive
is,
radio.
yeah.
Like,
It
'cause
is-
you're
it
clicking
is
right
radio.
against it. Yeah,
It
but
is radio.
obviously we're talking about the format of radio where it's just radio 1, 2, 3, 4. You hit a channel and you tune into it.
This is what we're used to in UK. If
Yeah.
you've not
No,
been
no,
used to
well-
UK radio and you lived in America,
Yeah,
where everything is.
I'm talking about a live function.
America,
streaming.
sorry, radio in America is still huge.
Sure.
It's huge.
But
You get a radio, well, you probably get 100 stations for every job. You want blues. There's a list of blues on as long as you want. You
Yeah.
want pop.
But you'll
There's a
go,
list.
you'll go within 30 miles and it'll change it to something else.
Yeah.
right, so
So,
what impact
yeah.
is the radio having on the charts?
Oh, I don't know.
Because now the charts
I
that you
would have thought
hear,
none.
I think it has minimal impact. So
Yeah.
that in itself should give you a clear overview of
because
how
isn't-
important the music,
because isn't the
radio.
charts reflected on the
It includes
sales
streaming now as
of
well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it includes streaming.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought it was just like sales.
No, it's
Sales of-
streaming.
No,
of-
it's.
It's
I thought there were two
streaming
different.
as
I
well.
thought there were two distinct different
So
charts.
I don't think that radio plays a
then
huge part
then
at all.
I don't at all.
I think
no.
radio will turn
I'd
to.
turn on.
Radio will probably turn to. Here's my off-the-cuff prediction. I think radio will turn to a scheduled podcast place.
Really?
I think you'll probably get more of that, where like so imagine our podcast, but we're like scheduled at 3 p.m. on a Wednesday on
No.
Planet Shawaddy Waddy. No.
So going back to my stats.
Yep.
So this is what I've got. I don't know if I'm not right sure I believe this one myself.
Oh.
But 9 out of 10 listeners to the radio listen it at least once a week. But that's because it's played in either a workplace or like a shopping centre,
Yeah.
which works out at 89.6%.
Yeah.
And I first thought that personally, I think that's a bit high.
Yeah.
I'm
Sounds
not.
right, doesn't it?
I'm not
seems
sure.
skewed.
I agree with that.
Mm.
Can't argue with fine.
Well, no, you can't. No,
You can't have an
No.
opinion on a podcast when you're not near the mic.
yeah. So
As he walked off to go for a wee in a bucket, he decided to have an opinion.
he thinks he's in step to
He
us.
thinks it's instant.
I don't agree with that. I think that's I just think that's too high. 89.6.
The thing is, who's doing these stats numbers?
I
Who's
don't know.
been paid to do the research? Surely
I
it's
don't
got to be. It's got to come from the radio side, right? To justify the need for advertising spend. So for a company to spend money on them, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you're gonna, because radio needs adverts,
Yes.
so they need to justify they're getting X amount of listeners. So I can only presume that maybe there's been a bit of like,
Fiddling.
oh yes, the kids love
oh,
Cheshire FM.
thank you very much for that 100,000 Christmas tip, and you got 12 out of 10. What?
It's an internal research thing. It needs to be an external thing, doesn't it?
I don't know.
But-
yeah. Well, yeah.
Because the public isn't desperate to know. The only people are desperate to know is people that are actually going to be spending money on radio.
Yeah.
But hasn't it got calls in here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like someone left the door open.
It feels like it. But I don't think anybody left, did they?
No, nobody left. It's seamless, really.
So it must,
Seamless.
It must be draft through vents.
And as if by magic, we'll just cut back. So yeah,
So yeah, so
Seamlessly, nobody noticed that.
and Barbara Streisand, I had no idea.
notice what?
Well, exactly.
We were just
So, yeah,
talking about
so
the research.
We'll just say like 89.6.
Sorry, I've just been down into the cellar and we're out
All
of
right.
Chateau de Chablis.
Good lord!
God, that
All
fucking
right, we're gonna have to cancel the podcast.
That butler gets on
Can you
my
have a word?
tits.
Because I thought we've got at least 6 bottles left. That 1952,
I told
especially.
the butler first thing this morning, you must make sure that the champagne is stocked.
There's plenty of chateau.
And then I whipped him vigorously for 30 whips. And he says, yes, my lord, I will have it by 5
I
o'clock.
think I've seen this film.
I think Indigo Spartans.
There's plenty of Chateau de Pape, but there's no Chateau de Chablis.
God damn. So, yeah, so apparently 89.6%, which I think's
It's quite
too high,
isn't it?
that.
Yeah.
I'm not buying that at 1 minute.
I don't know.
I was just discussing that it's interesting because who's paying for this research? The research will be paid from the radio
You're
industry.
going to read from it what you want if on your side.
So who do the radio industry need to? Who do they need
Nice.
to sell to? They need to sell to people who's going to buy space on them, right?
Excuse me, can I just bang on the table a little bit more while Wayne advertises the latest beer that we've just been drinking?
You need to try this. It's very nice. I do like that. Is it a new one?
Yeah.
I do like that. Apparently, it's not.
What's it called, Wayne? For the people that can't
It's
see.
called Brewdog Hoppy Christmas. And then it says, not available after the 31st of December. No, it doesn't.
Oh,
Oh, there we go.
yeah, there we go.
If
The sound effects get Sibway.
If I can make any more noise, I will try.
So go on. Sorry, Louis.
So who will be paying for this research? It'll be the radio industry, because they are trying to establish a need for promoters. So when people are buying advertising space, they think, oh well, the radio is actually a viable place to promote.
Yeah,
Of course, the numbers aren't going to come back. Well, actually, there's no point you spending money here.
So really,
Nobody else is paying for that research.
So really, what you're saying is you're answering the original question.
I'm saying it's cobblers.
No, you're answering the original question.
Mm-hmm.
Wayne asked probably half an hour ago,
Is radio dead?
is radio dead? And you're answering the question by saying,
Yes.
no, because people are vying of us.
No. No, I think radio's dead.
Really?
No, I don't think it
Yeah, I
is.
think it's dead.
I don't think
I think it's dead, but it's basically a relic that's just lingering around.
I don't think it's dead. I don't think it's as big as it was, and I don't think it will ever die.
When I say dead, I don't mean it's gone. I mean it's
It's a wounded animal.
Oh,
it's a
but it's
wounded
not
animal.
dead.
Yeah, but it's not coming back. Not anytime soon. It's a
No.
So all right. So on that, so I've got my second statistic, which I also read. I mean, I couldn't believe this when I read it.
Yeah.
So the world number one.
There's no
Is-
leprechauns. Is that what? Was that one?
You've got a mouth on you.
God damn it! He just
I've
can't.
heard some rubbish in my
can't
time.
Wait, can it?
Well, all you
So-
gotta do is look at the end of the rainbow.
Yeah. So the world number one is the
Oi,
BBC World Service.
Sorry,
Put it down a bit
I
harder.
had to because my hand hurt.
Can you bang that anymore? I
can.
I had an echo. So yeah, so the world number one is the BBC World Service.
Yeah.
It has 188 million listeners.
I think
There you go.
That's
I mean,
a lot.
yeah.
But I haven't
Oh.
finished yet.
Oh.
But it's broadcasted in 32 different languages. So
Yeah.
that is worldwide.
Yeah.
And it has been for a number of years.
Which I found,
Remarkable.
yes, I was like, wow.
Well, we were the pioneers,
I
really,
didn't
weren't we?
I didn't realise that.
Of global news. We, sorry, I say we. In England, UK was pretty much the pioneers of global news, and a lot of it was integrated with the RAF and the military and all sorts of stuff, because yada yada yada. But there's a lot to do with technology as well, isn't it? So with antennas and frequencies, and you can get certain frequencies by certain technologies. So the strongest,
Yeah.
if you're able to provide the strongest frequency because you've got the best equipment, you're going to be able to reach more people.
Yeah. But don't you think 188 million is it's
It's an extraordinary number of people.
a vast
isn't it?
amount of people listening
Yeah.
It's
to that.
almost
Yeah.
as many as we get on a daily basis.
No.
Almost.
No, we get more than that.
A little bit. That's what I mean, almost.
Yeah.
But so I would have said, previous to reading that statement, I think radio was on its way out.
Well, if you'd have been asked that question,
I'd
how
have
many,
said-
how many listeners do they get?
Sorry.
Oh,
Sorry.
oh.
But globally, there's a lot of the world that is
Yes.
a lot of the world
I
sees
get
radio
that.
as modern technology.
Yeah.
But as a developed country,
No, that wasn't the question.
Sure, but nuances hadn't come into it. But if we're talking about the global world,
Yeah.
is radio still dead? There's a need for radio, sure.
Yeah.
But I'm talking from
Like
from
UK-ish.
yeah, I'm talking
Yeah.
from my own world, my own experiences of audio interface.
Yeah.
Radio plays no part in it.
I must admit, when I travel to work in the morning, I always put the radio on because I like the radio DJs. But when I'm coming home, I always put a podcast or a playlist or a new album on or whatever it may be. I always stream. If I'm travelling down to my mates in Norfolk or anywhere, if I'm travelling more than half an hour,
You've got other friends other than us.
one.
Okay.
So if I'm travelling more than half an hour, I will always put on Spotify. Always. If I'm 15, 20 minutes, I can't be arsed and all that shit. I'll put radio on. I ain't got time for that.
It's got big radio
What-
interface,
what-
hasn't it?
Like naked
It's like,
puppets.
it's like Minority Reports.
Naked puppets.
I ain't got time for that. So, but up from like half an hour up to X amount of hours, I'll always stream
Right.
a podcast.
And I think a lot of people do the same.
And through that, it's Giz. It's the rock dog.
It's the rock dog.
and through that, I would say radio is on a backward foot. Really, it's really holding on to its own.
It's lost a bit of traction. It's lost a bit of traction, and you can understand.
It's like a sheep
You
in
can
Wales
understand
on the edge
why
of a cliff.
it has, because of people consume music in different ways. People consume knowledge in different ways. But it's like we were having a conversation the other day, weren't we, about books?
Yeah,
and we thought the days of the book was over when Kindle and things like that come out.
Yeah. Go on, sorry.
And it's not really affected it.
But that's different, though, isn't it? Because the book has the book is a tactile instrument. It's a thing that you can pen through.
I think people like a book.
Yeah, we think. People like to listen to somebody on radio.
Yeah, I like a book. If I'm going to read something, I wouldn't read it on Kindle. I want a book. I want a book. A book. I want to see it there. I want to turn pages. I want a book.
It's a tactile thing.
I want a book.
I want a book.
You want a male rabbit.
That's a TV. That's a T-shirt slogan, isn't it?
Yeah.
I want a book.
You got to be very careful, though. Yes.
You've got to make sure it's spelt right.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah,
because you get a book, and it is a very tactile thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
radio's not a tactile thing.
It's not a tactile thing, no. But if you got a book, Kindle's never going to take away that romance of a book.
Yeah.
Radio is never going to take away completely, or internet is never going to take away completely that what radio does give people.
I think what radio offers people, right? So is probably something we're not really probably considered as, for such people like us and people we know who value music and podcasts or etc. so much. A lot of people don't.
No,
the majority of people don't.
No.
So they just like to be told, "Hey, there's a new song," and they're like, "Okay."
Yeah.
I am guilty of taking music far too seriously for myself.
I do meet these people, and it bewilders me. It just I can't understand them.
For me, music means far too much than is probably normal. So that's probably what I probably have a bit of a begrudgement to have been told what is the new good thing.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Right, so last quick question.
Why is it last?
Because I ain't got no more notes.
Okay.
And this surprised me, actually. So I want to ask you, what is number 1 and number 2 most...
Well, I can tell you, one is piss.
most listened to radio shows in the UK.
The most listened to radio shows.
Yes.
Number 1 is Radio 2.
1 and 2.
And number
You're with
2,
what?
number 1 is probably Radio 2. And number 2 is probably what's that independent one? It's like not Enemy.
Sorry.
It's
number 1 radio show
Magic.
Listen to
Magic.
is
Right, okay.
You're going to be surprised, aren't you?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be something weird like Talk Sport.
The second one was more of a wow than the first one.
What is it?
So the first one with 13.46 million people is Radio 2. In second place with 4.7 million. Now bear in mind the first got 13.46.
Yeah.
It's a massive gap.
Yeah.
Is that a generational thing though, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Possibly. but with 4.7 million people, is Radio 4.
4, yeah. Well, it's exactly what Louis just said. It's a generational thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the younger end is doing
It's
the
streaming.
internet, is streaming.
Yeah. But
Because
how
that
big's
is
that
their
gap?
generation.
Massive.
How big's that gap
Yeah.
from 1 to 2?
Yeah.
You usually get first to second, don't you? Like, we're a couple of hundred. Yeah. Oh, there might be a couple of hundred or even less than a.
Good stats that
But
way.
to be 11 million
Yeah.
people in front of number 2,
There's only 72 million people in this country.
that's huge.
Yeah.
It's you. That is a massive, massive gap from
Calm down.
from first to second.
Jesus Christ.
I think, listeners, if you listen back, he said half a word earlier. He said, it's you, he said. And he said, it's massive, it's massive.
For God's sake, don't tell him they've landed on moon.
They've landed on the moon. What?
Massive.
Oh,
What?
it's different from landing.
You mean that video footage where flag don't move?
No, it does
You mean
move.
that-
No.
You mean that one?
It does move. It don't. No, hold on.
No,
Sorry,
it doesn't. It's stationary.
Wayne, I'd love
Gravity.
I'd love to get into an
Everybody's
argument with you.
Everybody's floating around like this on flags.
I'd love to get into an argument with you,
Right,
but
think
somebody
we've
who I
time for that.
thought was on my defence just made a horse sound. So I realised my defendant is of ill mind.
Your defence counsel is red rum.
Well,
Goodbye.
On that note, what we should say is...
Goodbye.
Oh, it loves that last word.
go on, give us the last word.
Go on.
Bye.